Hi, how are you doing? In this video, you're going to learn about JavaScript number type. Okay, so it's not going to be the very exciting video, but it's very important to understand the number type. Okay, so let's begin. There are number types that represent both integers and floating point numbers. So what's the difference? Let's see that. For example, let's create a variable with the integer number, and I give it a number of 100. Okay. Now, what about the floating point? Floating point number is let's say 100.50. So this is a floating point number, right? So we have a decimal point and we have some floating values. So this is a floating point number. Okay. So in fact, let me create one more variable. So what will happen, what I'm trying to show you here is, if there's a decimal point and some value, but because it's a 0, JavaScript behind the scenes JavaScript engine autocorrect this one and removes the 0 because it's 0. If it was 1, it would still be a floating point, but because it's 0, it just converts it to nothing and then it just returns the integer value. Okay, so that's the important thing to keep in mind here. Let me console log all these. Okay, integer number, floating point number, and then float 2. Okay, so I'm going to console log all this and we see step by step. So first the integer number float and then the float, but with 0 value. Okay, let me refresh. Okay, so the first one is integer number, that's fine. Second one is a floating point, that is also fine, 100.5, so 100.5, and then we have 100. We had 0, but it just didn't really care about 0, so it just autocorrect. Now if I change to 1, and let's see, and it works. The next thing, there is a range of values in JavaScript. Okay, so this is a number function you get to use in JavaScript, maximum and minimum number. That's the one I wanted to show you. So instead of executing the function, I'll just use this number and then value, all right, and then min value. Okay, so let's see what we see, the numbers maximum value and minimum value. All right, as you can see, this is the maximum value, 1 point lots of number e plus. So what is e plus? Is it's a e notation. So if for every for very large number or very small number, the floating point values can be represented using e notation. All right, so e notation is used to indicate a number that should be multiplied by 10. Okay, so it's quite a lot because in reality we use just 2 or 3 points after, so this would probably we use as 1.79 or 1.80, right? But technically there are too many numbers there. Okay, so this is, there's a limitation of how many numbers can be represented. So this is the maximum number range and this is the minimum number range. Okay, there's another special value, numeric value in JavaScript, which is none. It's create some variable none equals to, I'll just put some random text. Okay, and then I'll try to alert using the number function. Okay, and I'll try to pass this none. What do you think will happen? Because I tried the number casting function, so this function will try to convert everything inside as a number. However, how it's going to do that? It's a random text. So let's see what happens. Refresh, and none. As you can see, none. It's not a number. So when it sees all this stuff, something he cannot do, it says not a number. If it was, let's say 100, save, refresh, and it does pretty good job. It does convert it to 100. Okay, so if you say 100 and put some random text, let's see what happens. It's not a number. let me show you by one alert. Okay, not a number equals strict equality operator. Okay, we have yet to cover these operators, but it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so what I'm trying to see here is if not a number equals exactly to another not a number. Let's see what we get. Refresh, false. It's pretty weird, right? We expect it to be true, but it's false. Such things in JavaScript that makes, and that's why people also complain a lot about JavaScript, this and that, you know. So there are a couple of things, and not just in JavaScript, in every language there are certain this and that quirks that we need to deal with. So for this reason, they have a method, and that method is called isNone. Okay? This method you can use to determine if it is actually a number or not. Okay, so let's create our isNone. Okay, so what do we expect to see? Is not a number. Is not a number. I know it can be confusing. Is not a number. None is not a number. It should be true, right? Because none is not a number. That's why we get this none. Okay, let's see. Yeah, true. None is not a number. That's good. Okay. What about if I try to give 100? Is it 100 a number or not a number? Is not a number. No, it should be false, right? Because it is a number, and I'm saying it's not a number. It should be false. First true, and we say false. Great. So it was true, it was false. That's great. Now what if it's not a number? String. It's a string. It's not a number. False. The reason is JavaScript behind the scene converted this to a number. So even though it's a string, JavaScript converted to a number. So it's a number, and I'm saying it's not a number, so it returned false. Okay. So things like that can be a bit confusing in JavaScript, but that's how it is.